Don't you hate it when you're watching the draft and a division rival of your favorite team makes a great pick? Well, that's kind of what happened to me as a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan when the Carolina Panthers decided to select Brian Burns. I'm not gonna lie, he's a really good player and that was a really good pick, and let's just jump into what makes him a good player. Really, the key is his footwork and his speed. That's kind of really his best attributes, and take a look at how he's going to use those to his advantage on this one. He's on the edge and he's going up against the left tackle, and take a look at what he's going to do here. For one thing, this is going to be a play action, so he can't just full out to stop a pass right off the bat. He has to be aware of a potential run, so this means that he does have to kind of run closer in than he would like to. So because he has to do that, this now means that it could be easier for Miami player to get his hands in good hand placement, which would be his left hand on Burns' right shoulder pad and his right hand on Burns' left pec. However, Burns is actually going to do a very good job of reading this play and realizing very quickly that it is not going to actually be a run and it's going to be a pass. And once he does that, look at how quickly he's able to get back to the outside. I mean, very easily. I mean, that's just great footwork, and he's easily able to get around that tackle and get to the edge. So what do you do if you're a tackle? Well, now you try to push Burns past your quarterback. That's pretty much all you can do at this point. Try to get him past your quarterback. He won't be able to hit your quarterback or hurt you in any way. And not only that, but can now force Burns to have given up containment and can allow your quarterback to run to the bottom half of the screen. So it can turn a negative into a positive if you can pull it off. And he actually is going to do a pretty decent job of doing that. Burns is now behind the quarterback, but not totally behind the quarterback. Basically what Burns can do is one thing, and that's leap up and try to knock the ball out of the quarterback's hands as he's throwing. Not a guarantee by any means, but he does have a chance to make something happen, and he is going to actually knock this ball out. That was kind of a good all-around battle right there. You know, first the play call gets Burns in kind of poor positioning, but then he makes a great move to get himself in good positioning. The tackle does his best to push him behind him, however Burns keeps fighting and is able to get very close to the quarterback and leap up and make the play. That's kind of why I like that play, because, you know, it wasn't just a bad play by a tackle and Burns just owning someone. That was a good play by a tackle, a good play design, but Burns was just better on that one, and he just was able to get the win out of it. And of course, worth mentioning, being able to knock the ball out of the quarterback's hands is always a great thing if you can pull it off. So just a great play by Burns there. I really do like his footwork, and I think his footwork is very good, but it's not just footwork, it's speed. And those are two different things, but Burns has both. Like as of right now, once again, he's going up against the left tackle, and take a look at what he's going to do here. First, he does break pretty far to the bottom half of the screen, and he does kind of have free range to do whatever he wants. Since there was no halfback in on this play, he can be pretty sure that it is going to be a passing play. So Burns is running to the bottom half of the screen, which is going to force that tackle to basically move to the bottom half of the screen and to the right side of the screen. So from there, Burns is going to pull off a spin move to the inside, and this is actually a very risky play. Because of course you are giving up containment, which can allow a quarterback to run to the bottom half of the screen and potentially have all day to throw the ball. It takes several things to pull off this kind of move, but one of those things it takes is confidence. You have to trust that you can get to the quarterback quicker than he can get to the outside. It's going to be a foot race once he gets around this tackle, but look at how he's able to win the foot race and dive and make a tackle. He barely got him, but he got him, and another good play by Burns. He definitely has that speed to be able to run over and make a kind of tackle that you really want to make. And while that was kind of showing off his speed in more of an untraditional way, let's show how his speed can be a factor in more of a just straight up way, and this one will be a perfect example of it as he is going up against the left tackle. Basically what he's doing here is he's essentially guessing as though it's not going to be a run to his side of the field, because he's going to run very far around that tackle and he's going to be very far out of position if there is a run in that direction, but he just trusts that it's not going to be run in that direction. He's kind of guessing on this play, but he's going to guess right on this one. And that ends up being a very good decision because he did guess right, and look at how far away that tackle is from him. I mean, there's no way you can get good hand placement, and in fact, that tackle can barely get any hand placement, period. Burns is just so far to the bottom half of the screen and so far away, that tackle just had no way of being able to make much contact at all. He's able to get a hand on Burns, but again, just getting a hand on a defensive lineman is just not going to do much at all. So, you know, Burns did that, but of course, there's a reason why you don't do this on every single play, and it's not just to make sure you don't give up yards on the run. The problem is he's very far away from the quarterback and he's going to have a long way to run. However, he is able to run over and disrupt the play. It's just really a fantastic job of being very fast. I mean, Burns is just a really fast guy. It's pretty insane. This guy is 6'5" and 249 pounds, but also ran a 4.53 40-yard dash. Now granted, it is worth mentioning, he reportedly played at 235 pounds during the 2018 season, but in the combine he weighed in at 248 pounds, and who knows, maybe he was just trying to look good for the combine or something. But regardless, he still ran to 4.53 at that weight, so really just incredibly impressive. And also, when it comes to speed, I mean, this play actually made me laugh out loud when I was watching it because of how impressive it was. That's where Burns is on the screen, and Syracuse is going to be running an option play on this one, where basically there's two things they could do. Although before they have the option, one thing worth noting is on this option play, Burns is going to be left unblocked. That's kind of the whole point of the option. You leave someone unblocked and allow the option to do the blocking for you. Whereas basically if Burns crashes into the middle, then you're going to hand it off and have the running back run to the outside. However, if Burns stays to the outside to make sure he maintains containment, then you're going to run it straight at the middle, and you basically taking Burns out of the play. That's basically the way the option is supposed to work, where Burns is going to essentially just take himself out of the play as long as you make the correct decision. However, you know when you're in math class and you're trying to figure out what the answer to a question is, and then all of a sudden you get hit by a truck? No, you've never had that happen? Well, Syracuse is about to have it happen right here. I mean, that's just ridiculous and unfair. I mean, how can you make a decision that quickly when Burns is able to quickly run in and make an insane tackle? I mean, this guy is just a physical freak. I mean, he runs like a defensive back, and yet he can still also be 250 pounds. And it's not just plays when he's left unblocked or left on a one-on-one block that he can be effective as well either. Like on this one, it technically is going to be a one-on-one block, but there is going to be a tight end in the game who's lined up next to Burns. While he is going to actually be running a route, this now means that in theory, if Burns does try to break too far to the outside, the tackle would have plenty of time to move over and get in position. However, if you're Burns, you still are going to try to break around that tight end, because in theory, if that tight end was blocking, that would mean that if you ran to the inside of the tight end, you just run straight into a double team. So first off, look at that wide turn that Burns is going to have there. I mean, that's just crazy. If you're a tackle, you do also have to do a better job of getting back in position, but that's just so hard because of how quick Burns can move. He's very aptly named in the way that he can constantly burn tackles with his speed. If you look at the contact, again, it's barely any. The tackle has one arm on Burns, and that's just not going to be enough to really even slow him down. Also because he's just such a big and strong guy, just one hand isn't really going to slow him down too much. He runs by and makes a great tackle for a sack. I mean, that's just, again, it's crazy. I mean, watching tape for this guy is like watching a highlight reel on every play. The fact that he fell to 16 is really just remarkable. I think that this guy is an easy top 10 or possibly even a top 5 pick in some drafts, but just because there were so many great defensive linemen this draft, I think that's a large reason why he fell. I'm going to show another play of him doing another thing very similar, however, this time with a different angle, which I think will really give you a better example of showing how quickly he moves left and right. He's going up against that left tackle right here, and after the ball is snapped, first off, it does look like he's going basically straight into that tackle. I mean, he's clearly a little bit farther to his right than that tackle is, but it's nothing major. So, you know, if you are that tackle, where does that principal point of contact have to be? It has to be your left arm right there on Burns' right shoulder. But look at how in just 2 steps, he's able to get so much farther over to that tackle. He completely pulls over, and now once again, the tackle is just not in good position to be making a block. Instead of having that left arm on his shoulder, it's really kind of on his chest, and the right arm is pretty much rendered useless. And because Burns is such a big, strong guy, this is really just not going to work out well. The tackle does his best to slow him down, however, Burns still moves over and kills a guy. I mean, his speed is really just something of beauty, and really it kind of creates so much problems for an opposing offensive coordinator. You really can't get too creative against a guy like that. Like on this play, when a Miami offensive coordinator tried to get creative, it did not work out well at all. Basically, what he's going to try to do is have that tight end pull over and make sure that he can block Burns. And in theory, I do kind of understand the logic behind it. Well, typically, I think the easiest way to help somebody out when a tackle keeps getting beat is just have your running back chip him. You can do something like this as well, because now a tight end has way more space than a tackle does, and he should be able to get over and try to make a block on Burns. However, even when you do something like that, Burns is just so fast. Look at how he's able to easily get past that tight end. I mean, Burns just didn't hesitate at all here. That's kind of one of the things I like about Burns, actually. A lot of times when guys get unblocked, they're going to say, wait, why am I getting unblocked? Is this a screen pass? What's going on? But part of the reason why Burns was able to be effective on that last play, and part of the reason why Burns is going to be effective on this play, is because he shows no hesitation. He says, I'm getting unblocked, okay great, I'm going to try to get to the quarterback. Although one thing worth noting is that the quarterback actually realized that this play is a disaster, and he's going to try to get it off very quickly. He has a receiver somewhat open down to the bottom of the screen, so he was going to try to throw it in that direction. However, Burns, despite not hesitating to get over to that side of the field, once he realized that it's about to be a passing play, he does leap up and knock the ball away. So not only does he get the advantages of not hesitating and getting very close to the quarterback, but he also is a smart enough player to make that split-second decision to realize what's going on and leap up and knock the ball away. Although, you know, maybe if you are an opposing quarterback going against him, maybe this is something you could try to do. If Burns does have you beat, maybe try to fake as though you're throwing it down to the bottom half of the screen, even if no one's open over there. That could cause Burns to jump up and maybe you could get out of it. I don't know. Although, of course, that would definitely be a tough thing to pull off, because if you did fake it to that direction, you'd have to be able to know exactly where you're going to throw it to next. And also, you'd have to do it very quickly, because as I've shown, Burns can get to his top speed and make a tackle very quickly. But, you know, perhaps that is something worth noting. And also, maybe I should clarify my stance when I say he doesn't hesitate. Really what I mean is he makes the correct decision instantly. When he has those quick split-second decisions, he makes the correct decision pretty consistently. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that he never hangs back if that's what's necessary to the play. And this one, it is going to be necessary to the play. That's where he is on the screen, and once again, it is an option play where either it could be a handoff to the bottom half of the screen, or the quarterback could keep it himself and run to the top half of the screen. So unlike that last play where Burns just crashed in, he's not going to do that here, and that's partially just because he's farther away from the quarterback than he was on that last one. So basically right now, he's just going to hang back. He trusts that his front seven will be able to make a tackle if it is just a straight up handoff, and so he's basically making sure there isn't going to be a quarterback run here. And since it is going to be a quarterback run, this is just bad news if you're a quarterback. I mean, this is just not what you want. It doesn't look that bad on paper because, hey, a quarterback has plenty of space against a defensive lineman. This shouldn't be too difficult. But when that defensive line runs faster than most players on the field, it becomes a big problem. He's able to chase the quarterback down and get a sack out of it. That's also no easy feat. I mean, getting an open field tackle is not easy to do no matter how fast you are, but he also had the footwork to make sure that he didn't get beat left or right and was able to make that play. One other thing I want to talk about when it comes to Burns is his hands. He does have very good hands. That's probably not something that's going to necessarily be top of mind when you're talking about him because he's just such a fast guy and those plays are so much fun to watch. But his handwork is very impressive as well, and this one will be a good example of it. Which is actually interesting because the whole point of this play is not for him to really do anything at all. He's going up against the right tackle, and his sole job on this play is to get beat to the inside. He's supposed to run to the inside, the tackle makes sure that he's blocking him, and then basically what happens is the linebacker goes to the edge and he should be able to easily get through. Since it is going to be a blitz, all Burns is the setup man. However, look what happens. First, he's going to step up and just go straight to the tackle, but one thing worth noting is his opposing tackle is so ready to break to the outside, because that is what Burns does so often, that when Burns breaks to the inside, he's able to get there so quickly, he's able to easily get through. That's actually a really good play call to use when you have a fast edge rusher like Burns, because it can be effective in plays like that, where tackles aren't ready for you to break to the inside because you do break to the outside so often and you are so good at breaking to the outside. That's definitely something that if I'm on that Carolina coaching staff, I'm taking that with me, taking a mental note of it, and probably using it next season. One more play that'll, again, it made me laugh when I watched it because of just how dominant Burns is, and it's really just impressive, is going to be this one. That's where he is on the screen, and he's actually not going to get blocked by an offensive lineman here. Instead, that tackle is actually going to be blocking a linebacker, and they're actually going to have the fullback go up to try to block him on this one. It makes some sense. I mean, you give the fullback a running start, and in theory, this means that you can now have your halfback pick up a ton of yards. It seems like a very logical play call. However, Burns is going to lower the shoulder and absolutely punish that fullback. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, being a 250-pound guy who can run a 4.53, I keep bringing that up because it's so insane, and he was able to just bulldozer over a guy. So offensive coordinators, what do you do against Burns? Pretty much every play, have a great tackle, or have a tackle and then also have a running back chip him, because otherwise he's just going to dominate. Or, perhaps on the other hand, maybe run some draws to his side of the screen to try to keep him honest, not allow him to keep breaking to the outside. That's maybe something else you could do. But honestly, those are just ways to slow him down, because at certain points, you are going to have him one-on-one blocked, and he will beat you. Burns is really a tremendous player. I think he's one of the better players in this draft, and I think Carolina got an absolute steal with him at 16. Do I think that Burns will be a Pro Bowler? Yeah, I do. Do I think that he could be an All-Pro? I actually think there's a very real possibility this guy ends up being an All-Pro player. When it comes to just pure speed pass rushers, I would say Josh Allen is number one. However, Burns is definitely a 1B type situation. I mean, he's very close in that situation. And that's no knock on Allen, as you've seen if you watched my Allen video. I'm really impressed by him, but I just think Burns is a really talented player. And also, it's an odd year next year, so things are going to work out well for the Panthers, and I definitely think that he's going to be a great player for him next year.